So today we're going to do 2-2. We're going to do the first part. Again, we're looking at the standards covered this chapter. 2A, conditional statements, is really what we're working on today. Counterexamples, 2B, we did some of that yesterday. And then 2C, the algebraic proofs, that's coming up. So we're going to be using that algebra along with a 2-column proof. Let's take a look, like I said, and we're going to be analyzing conditional statements. So there's going to be some terms that we're going to cover today. One of the terms is conditional, another one is converse, and the other one is biconditional. Those are the three that we're going to learn today. And then we're going to add about 3 more tomorrow. So it's really important that you understand the terms today and how they work. Okay? So first of all, a conditional statement is an if-then statement. Okay? And you're going to notice that there's an if at the beginning and there's a then in the middle, and you can see it right there. Okay? You're going to see that on all conditional statements. Sometimes the conditional statements are given to you. Sometimes you have to make them. So it kind of depends on what they give you. Now, the first part of a conditional statement, it goes from the if and goes to the then. That is considered the hypothesis. So that's the hypothesis part of the conditional statement. And then the second part goes after the then and goes to the end of the conditional statement, and that is the conclusion. That is part of the test. So really what we're doing here is we're diagramming sentences. If you remember in English, you'd like underline the noun, circle the verb, put a square around the adjective. It's kind of what we're doing today. We're diagramming them, and we're picking pieces out of them. All right, so let's take a look at an example. I have a sentence that says pentagons have 5 sides, and we're going to write that in a conditional statement. So I'm going to start off with the word if. And I'm going to start you off. I'm going to kind of write it with you, and then the next one I'm going to have you kind of do it on your own, and we'll talk about it. So if it is a pentagon, notice that's the first piece of information they give you, comma, then it has 5 sides. Okay, so there's an example of how I take a sentence, I take a look at the 2 pieces of information they're giving me, and I split it off. A conditional statement needs to be in the order that they gave it to you. So like first hour is like, well, can I go, if it is a 5-sided polygon, then it's a pentagon. No, you can't, okay? It's got to kind of be in the order that they give it to you. So the first thing that they give you is that it is a pentagon, and then the second piece is that it has 5 sides. Okay? Now, if I was going to diagram this sentence, I'm going to take this part. This would be considered the hypothesis. Very good. That's the hypothesis. And then the second part would be considered the conclusion. Any questions on that? Okay, let's go to the next one, see if we can do that. We're going to start with the word if. Yes, if. Okay, it says, don't say anything at all when you don't have something nice to say. So if what?
You don't say or don't have anything nice.
If you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say anything at all. And so this was kind of a crazy one because you have to take a look at what it really is saying. okay? It says don't say anything at all, but first you have to think, if you don't have anything nice to say. We okay? Questions? Excellent. All right, let's keep going. The second definition is the converse. The converse will take the conclusion first and then the hypothesis second. So it'll take the if-then statement and they'll switch them, okay? So let's take a look at the example. Notice I have an if, notice I have a then. So this is the conditional statement. This first part is the hypothesis, and the second part is the conclusion. So in a converse, what you're going to do is you're going to start out with if, and you're going to put the conclusion first. So if my parents are happy, then what? I'll get an A. Absolutely. So you're going to notice that I do an if and then again. My conclusion becomes my hypothesis, and my hypothesis will become my conclusion. So they just kind of flip-flop. Questions? Am I going too fast? We're okay? Yeah? Okay. Next one. If a polygon is a pentagon, then it has 5 sides. Now, one thing to be careful on this one is you're going to start off with if, but sometimes we have to make sure that we, like this one, address that it's a polygon first, and then we swap them, okay? So if a polygon, what? Has 5 sides. There, very good. Then it is a pentagon. Very good. So again, you've got the if, you've got the then, okay, which makes sense, but this polygon piece does need to be the first part of the sentence. You do need to establish that I'm dealing with a polygon. Otherwise, it sounds kind of weird. Okay. Questions? Okay. Let's go on to the next one. So I'm going to grab, well, let's highlight if and then. If what do you think? If you, yeah.
Don't say anything at all.
Good. If you don't say anything at all, then what?
You don't have anything nice.
Very good. You don't have something nice to say. Very good. Questions? Something you don't understand? Okay. Now, there's a little bit of a note, something to keep aware of. And the note is the converse is not always true, which makes sense. So, for example, if I come up here, is it true that if you don't have something nice to say, then you shouldn't say it at all? Is that kind of true? Yeah, we say it all the time. If you don't have anything nice to say, just zip your lip, right? Is it true that if you don't say anything at all, then you don't have something nice to say? Is that true? No, you might have a sore throat, and that's why you don't say anything, right? Yeah, so the converse isn't always true, and that's important to see. Now, we're going to move on, and And we're going to do the last piece, and this is considered a biconditional statement. Okay, it's a conditional and it's converse, but they first both have to be true. If they're not both true, then you can't do it. Okay? And then you're going to take off the if statement and the then statement, and you're going to put an if and only if right where the then is. And you go, man, that's a lot of information. I'm going to do a bunch with you. Okay, so just hang on. So first of all, this is an if, this is the then, this is the conditional. Okay, so I'm going to do the converse. Let's do the converse. If, what? Good. If my parents are happy, then, yeah, I will get an A. Okay? So I got my if-then statement, my conditional statement. I just wrote my converse. Now let's talk about to see if they're true. Take a look at the first one. If I get an A, then my parents will be happy. Is that true? I would think that would be true. So the conditional statement is true, I would hope, right? The converse, if my parents are happy, then I'll get an A. Is that true? That's not true. It'd be nice, right? Yeah, I'd be like giving my mom flowers all the time and give my dad coffee all the time and rub their back, right? Yeah, but that's not true. So this is false. Because one of them is false, you can't write a biconditional statement. Okay? They both have to be true for that to occur. If they're both true, then we can write one, and you're going to see that. I'll show you how to write it. But at first you have to understand that if one of them is false, I can't do a biconditional statement. Questions on that? Okay, let's move on. Write a biconditional statement if possible. So this says if a polygon is a pentagon, then it has 5 sides. That's the conditional. So now let's go ahead and let's write the converse. If a polygon, yes, has 5 sides, yes, then it is a pentagon. Okay, I've got an if, I've got a then. Now we got to check and see, are they both true? So look at the first one, the conditional. If a polygon is a pentagon, then it has 5 sides. Is that true? Absolutely, that's a true statement. This is true. Now take a look at the converse. If a polygon has 5 sides, is it a pentagon? That is also true, yes. So now I'm going to write a biconditional statement. When you do a biconditional statement, what you're going to do, first of all, is you're going to look at the conditional statement. So you're looking at this piece right here to write it, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to take off the if and the then, and you're going to put if and only if where the then is. So this is what it looks like, okay? I'm going to go a polygon is a pentagon, comma. Do you see what I did? I took the conditional statement, I took off the if, and I just put a polygon is a pentagon. Then I have a comma, and then right in this area, I'm going to write if and only if, comma. So I took out the then and I put that in. What that means is it can go back and forth. It can go either way. If and only if it has 5 sides. And that's the biconditional statement. So it's exactly the same as the conditional. I'm taking the if off, I'm taking the then out, and I'm putting if and only if where the then is. Okay? Questions? Okay. Let's move on. If you don't have something nice to say, then don't say anything at all. Is that true? That's true. Okay? Then we said the converse. If you don't say anything at all, then you don't have something nice to say. We kind of mentioned that before. Is that true or is that false? That is false. So can I write a biconditional statement? No. Can't write a biconditional statement. Oops. Questions? Okay, now I'm going to do a couple examples with you so you kind of have an idea of what to do, okay? Tomorrow when we start class, I'm going to start off with a couple examples and then we're going to go from there. All right, here we go. This is kind of how your test is going to be. I'm going to give you a statement. You need to write a conditional statement, you need to write a converse, and then if they are both true, you're going to give me a biconditional statement. So this is very similar to what you're going to see on a test. So here it says, a minor is under the age of 18. We need to do an if-then statement. So I'm going to go if what? If someone or you, whatever you want to do, someone is a minor, what goes next? Then what? They are, yep, they are under the age of 18. Okay? We okay? Not okay? Questions? All right. Let's move on. The converse. If what? Someone. Yeah, we're going to grab someone again. If someone is, yeah, good, under the age of 18, then what? Yes, they are a minor. Okay. Now we got to decide, are they true? Let's look at the conditional statement. Okay? If someone is a minor, then they are under the age of 18. Is that true? That is true. Yep. True. If someone is under the age of 18, then they are a minor. Is that true? That is true. So because they're both true, I can write a biconditional statement. Now, which one do I grab? I do the first one, right? The conditional statement. We're going to start with that one. So I'm going to take off the word if, and I'm going to start with someone, what? Good, is a minor, comma, what? Yes, if and only if, what? Good, they are under the age of 18. And that's it. That's today. Okay? I want you to be practicing this. In Schoology, I have a worksheet. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. And I'm going to show you what I want you to do. There's going to be 7 statements. You're going to write conditional. You're going to write a converse. And then you're going to see if you can do the biconditional. And you're going to practice this. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about negating it. We're going to talk about contrapositives. We're going to talk about inverses. So we're going to add to what we already did. So it's really important that you practice this stuff and you really understand how to do it. Because then tomorrow we're going to add more to it. Right? Any questions? All right.